So let's discuss the setup and how that is different from a full swing. I have a sand wedge in my hand, and to be fair, if you've watched my pitching series, Pitch It a Little Bit Closer, you'll get to see very similar things when we come to a chip shot. So because it is a low-powered shot, again, we want to create the setup that's allowing us to create little power and therefore a lot of control. Again, if I just used my sort of normal full swing setup to start with and then bring everything closer to how I would want to do a chip shot. So full setup has me with the hands at the top of the club, ball position in the middle of the stance, feet a good shoulder width apart, and therefore I'm in an athletic position to fully rotate up to the top and then obviously strike all the way through to get this shot to go the full distance. But if I'm only really trying to chip it onto the green, few things need to happen. I'm going to get closer to the golf ball to start with. That's going to affect the shaft angle. That's going to make life easier for us to work on a bit more of a pendulum. We can, and I'll discuss later, talk about the toe down chip, which helps us in certain situations, but you definitely want to feel a lot closer to the golf ball for a bit more control is the easiest way that I can describe it. So just having obviously closer to it, and then from another closer perspective, get the feet closer together. You will notice from my my pitching series, I like to see the toes forward of the ball line. So I'm not aiming my feet dead straight. I just think for me that just opens up my lower half ever so slightly towards the target. It gives me a little bit more space, a little bit more room. When we talk about alignment though, I'm definitely still feeling that my shoulder alignment is still parallel to my ball to target line. I don't really want to see my upper body too open as well, because therefore I feel it requires a little bit more manipulation than is necessary. So everything is now just got closer. I've gone closer to the golf ball. I've gone closer with my stance. My feet are gone forward of target of the golf ball. And then what I also do, which I like to feel, is that I just lower my hands down. Again, that's going to help me to get closer to the golf ball. But I feel if you're just making your club of choice a little bit smaller, a little bit more control, and a little bit less of the ability to generate too much power. So, and that's as simple as I can make it. Just getting close to the golf ball, toes pointing left, feeling like the ball position stays pretty central. Yes, ball position can move in certain situations, but if we're trying to keep this series as simple as possible to give you the best chance, I would just bring everything nice and close together. Same normal grip, and then I'm in a position where from a weight distribution, just a little left. Again, like the pitching, I want to feel that as I move through this stroke, I'm creating the angle of attack, which is slightly negative. It's going to give me definitely ball contact first, and then maybe a little bruise of the turf. I don't really want to be digging too much into the ground. So from a pressure perspective, just everything a little bit left, and try to keep that shaft lean to a minimal. We don't need to see an excessive amount of shaft lean. Again, I will explain certain situations may require that, but for a perfect lie situation, dare I say it, to a bog standard chip shot, I'm feeling that everything is fairly neutral, just a little bit left. If you can keep the setup nice and simple, it's going to allow you to create that simple action, which is going to give you consistency. I don't think we need to overcomplicate the issue. It's a small shot, requires a small swing, so set up in a way that reduces the power.